Wait, no. Is it? Yep. Litchfield Golf Club. They gave this to me. This was a Christmas gift from April's parents. And I'm wearing it. After the divorce, they said, thank you so much for getting out of here. Thank you for leaving us alone. Here's a shirt. It was for Christmas. They didn't know that we were swapping partners at the time. Probably wouldn't have gotten the shirt in that case. I remember talking to her dad about, like, I was like, April's got a problem. Like, she needs help. And her dad goes, we've already noticed. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, she can't sit still. Like, she can't, she keeps looking around everywhere. Like, I've noticed that there's something going on there. And then he said at one point, he goes, I've noticed that you guys can't sit still and you're moving around. I'm like, I'm not, what, me? No. I've done like 4 or 5 bumps total in the last 6 months or whatever. Dude? I don't like that shit. Take a little Molly at night every now and again, but, just don't want to be part of the fights. But yeah, like when you try to tell people something, you're like, look, this is really difficult for you to hear. Just want to lay it out for you. I tried to help. I failed, so I'm putting it in your hands. Blah, 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 blah. And you lay it out for him. He's like, yeah, I know. oh, okay. Like when you think you're hiding something. It's kind of like when that search warrant affidavit came out. And the pastor was like, yeah, these 4 are each other, basically. I mean, basically, that's what he was saying. He was going, these 4 have a really unnatural relationship. And I'm like, were we, it's maybe the one thing that Nick and April were right about is they were like, you and Kayla are not subtle and you stare at each other and you do this and we do, and we're like, you guys are just being fucking gay. And then the pastor's like, these 4 are each other, dude. And we're like, shit. Maybe he has a point. Well, I guess also bringing your mistress to church is probably not. I mean, that really is just kicking God in the dick hole, isn't it? I just feel bad for everybody just making bad decisions in their life and whatever, but everybody has to pay the piper, my man. Says, talking about I guess the internet got a hold of some pictures of her and April and Nick together at a tattoo festival over the weekend, and they've kind of gone all over Twitter and Kiwi Farms and shit. People are focusing in on her nose and saying, oh, her nose is all fucked up. And Caesar Diff says, holy Moses, she aged 20 years, turned her from an 8 to a 4. That wasn't the part that I felt embarrassed for them for. That, I mean, look, you abuse substances, it's going to have I watched it take a physical effect on her. Like it doesn't, that part, I guess, wasn't shocking to me. I'm kind of used to that. But what's really kind of, as an observer, not as someone who was ever involved, but just like watching it, you're like, just the flaunting of the affair while Kayla's nowhere to be seen that's just really gross. I mean, I feel it's just such a tawdry, gross. It's such a, you know what? White trash. It's a white trash thing to do. And it just doesn't look good. I guess the other thing could be she's out. She left and she's going to rehab and she's doing all the steps you need to do to get your kids back and get your life back together, which those 3 are not going to get their lives together around each other. It's not going to happen. And Nick and April are way too much alike to ever stop. I don't see either one of them being the one to go, we need to stop doing these things. That's not going to happen. But if Kayla is out because she's getting better, then in a way, I guess that's a good thing. I think those 2 are a better fit for each other anyway. I mean that. I think they're a better fit for each other. So yeah, I saw that. Caesar Diff and a few other people have written to me and said, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I just, I'll say again, if everybody gets their lives back together, that's, better for children. It's going to be a little weird if they're together though, because if the kids come back and then now this is your, this is the woman your dad's with and like the history of that and just makes me very happy that I'm not attached. It just makes me very, sometimes you look at things and people go, dude, Aaron, look at what a mess this is. And you just go, thank God I'm not there. Just thank God I'm not a part of it. I don't have to worry about it, which is so nice. It's liberating. It's freeing. Yeah, the YouTube chat is shitting on me. Triple N says, speaking about honesty, why did you and Johnny come up with that silly lie about Johnny's raise? Clearly, Johnny's crying meltdown was the impetus and Mersh caused that. I know you're a Mersh guy, Triple N. You've always been really cool to me, but I can't lie. The Mersh thing had nothing to do. I can't give Johnny money I don't have just because Mersh was a meanie head. I can't do that. April leaving freed up Johnny to get more money. It freed me up to do a couple of other things. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I don't like it when people find something inconvenient for them and then they go, well, this has got to be a lie. And it's like, no, you're saying it's got to be a lie because you don't want it to be true. There's a big difference between those two things. But no, Johnny got a raise because more money became available. And as more money becomes available, we'll probably give Matt and Johnny a little bit more. But speaking of which, JC says another raise for Johnny. We are meeting goals every day. We are knocking them out, and that is good for business. It has allowed us to, do some things, which is good. You guys are an incredibly supportive audience, and we love you. Chelino McBuster says April was booted by Ashley. Johnny got a raise. No, I did that. People try to put the mother of my children involved as like the reason I left. She had nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Says, can you finally admit how much you had to pay April to skip the shows and fuck up the merch? Haven't I said how much I paid April? April was making $50,000 a year. I paid her. I gave her a raise from the place she was working at because she would come home and I hate my neck and I feel terrible and I hate that job and it's so awful and I love doing the show with you. So I'd be like, I wanted to help her. And I was like, why don't you come work for me? And I went to the accountant, and this is back when we had like My Pillow and Raleigh's and Old Capital, and all this fucking money was coming in from the sponsors, the advertisers. And I was like, we can afford it. We can bring you aboard. And then as the sponsors started thinning out a little bit, and people were like, we're going to take the training wheels off. You guys are doing good, blah, 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 blah. We had to start cutting people because I wasn't going to, fire my wife. Like, if looking back, if I would have fired April when things were getting tight and she had to go back to work, she had to go back to her other job, we would have been able to retain Corey, Oz, Johnny, and not cut their pay. And, looking back, that's definitely, if you were like top 10 mismanagement moves by Aaron Imholte on Steel Toe, looking back, that would be one of them.